Hey everybody, it's me. I'm finally posting again. I know it's been a while and I apologize for that. I've definitely thought about it a few times and I just keep forgetting to do it or time gets away from me. I kind of feel like ever since I had the surgery, I have surgery brain, which kind of reminds me of pregnancy brain a little bit, where I forget things and I say really stupid things that make no sense, and I've been kind of MIA a little bit. I kind of feel like if I have something I have to do that day, that's what I do that day. And the rest of the day, I'm really tired and not really present. So I kind of feel like that's just part of how it is. Like, I feel like just recently, like, I've been reaching out to people going, how's everything going? Because I feel like I've been kind of hiding under a rock for the past couple weeks. But that's kind of how it feels when you buckle down and make being healthy your job, which is really what I've been doing. I'm still on purees, and I see the surgeon next week, so fingers crossed he takes me off of purees and I can eat real foods. But it hasn't really been that bad, and I really have been getting stronger. I haven't been as weak like I was. I can officially stand long enough to take a shower and to brush my teeth. It's not all the way gone yet. I still call it kind of like, I described it to one person like, it's kind of like when you feel when you have the flu, like if you stand too long, you start to, like, your stomach hurts and you feel kind of weak and you get shaky. That's kind of how it feels if I stand too long. But the time period between standing up and feeling weak is getting longer and stretching out. So I know that I'm on the right track, and I know that eventually that's going to be gone too soon. And it's really been about working towards that. It's really the laws of motion when you get out of surgery. Things in rest stay in rest, and things in motion stay in motion. And the more I push myself to get in motion and to get up and walk around and exercise and go out of the house and do things, the better I feel. And the easier it is the next time I get up to do those things. So those are the things I've been working on the most, is getting through the purees and the protein and eating and the drinking all the time, and the exercising and the moving around and doing stuff. And it's been really nice, and kind of, I feel like I've been almost moving around now more than I was even before the surgery. So that's really a big bonus. Protein I'm getting from different sources besides the Slim Fast. I've been doing some Carnation Instant Breakfast, and I've been doing some protein shakes that I read about on a bariatric website that are super yummy, and different things like that. And I have been trying a lot of new things. I try to keep my body trying new things. I want to know what is and isn't going to work, and my stomach tells me pretty quick what does and doesn't work for it. And so far, everything that I've eaten, my stomach will take as long as I do it the right way, except eggs. For some reason, my stomach does not appreciate eggs, which is a little bit of a bummer, just because eggs are a really good source of protein and a really good way to start your breakfast. But I just can't do it. My stomach doesn't like it, and it just kind of sits in my stomach and doesn't digest, which is kind of gross. So no more eggs for now, at least. I may try it in the future, but not right now. The other thing my stomach definitely tells me if it likes or does not like is my liquid intake before and after food. One of the things that they tell you before surgery, because they want you to practice from the beginning, is not drinking anything a half an hour before you eat and a half an hour after you eat. And that really depends, because depending on how my stomach feels, which I'm learning to listen to and to understand and to know, drinking afterwards is actually not till like an hour, and sometimes even an hour and a half. If I do it too soon, if I eat right after I've drank a little bit thinking, oh, it wasn't that big a deal, it wasn't that much, or if I get too thirsty after I eat and I try to drink, it's usually not a good situation at all. I have a couple times gotten sick because of it, and it was much to my dismay, because I was very determined to never get sick after eating, but it's okay, it wasn't that big of a deal. And the whole thing has really not been that much of a negative experience, because it's a learning curve. You're learning a little bit more every day about what your stomach does and doesn't like. And it's always so quick and so easy, because even if it doesn't like something I ate, it's not like it takes that long to digest it. So it's not been that big of a deal. And I've kind of enjoyed almost learning what is and isn't going to work. People say that having the surgery is a lifestyle change, and that's absolutely true. Whether I like it or not, this is changing my life, and I like it. I like it very much. I don't have the dumping syndrome, and here's my least favorite word with the surgery. It's called dumping syndrome, and I think it's really gross. And Randy and I are trying to come up with a better word for it, but we just haven't yet. So I'd love suggestions, because I think it's super nasty to keep saying that. What it is just if you eat something that's usually greasy or too sweet and sugary, then you can get really sick. I don't even want to describe it because it's really gross, the things that happen to your body. It doesn't handle it well at all, and it's usually very quick, within 5 to 10 minutes of having it, and it's not at all pleasant. And some people call it a blessing and some people call it a curse. It depends on who you talk to. Some people don't have it either, and so far I have not got it, and I don't know how I feel about that yet, because as I said, it depends on how you look at it. Some people think it's nice to never have the dumping syndrome, because people will say to you, I can eat whatever I want, and my body, I never have to worry about not having my favorite foods, and they appreciate that. But then there's other people who say that they appreciate the dumping syndrome because it makes them not eat things that aren't healthy. It kind of keeps them from doing it. It's like an extra motivation to eat those healthy things. And I would appreciate that, definitely, that little extra motivation, but it also just shows me that this is all on me, and it's all the choices that I make, and no matter what happened with the surgery, in a couple weeks, if I'm on solids, I could be eating whatever I wanted in all reality, and as long as my stomach takes it. And that's kind of a scary thought too, because you don't want to get back into old habits. Another thing that they taught me, the surgeon that I saw before, the one that I actually used, described the surgery as turning your stomach into a funnel, more than it used to be. And he said, you know, whatever you want to put into a funnel, you can put into a funnel. As long as it's liquid enough, it'll go down. So you could put castor oil in a funnel and it would still go down. And his point was that this doesn't keep you from eating unhealthy things. One of the things specifically that I noticed because of the funnel idea, I don't want to say syndrome all the time, but it's not really a syndrome. So I guess the funnel idea is soup. One of the things that the on the list that the nutritionist warned me about was soup. She said it's on there to eat, especially for the puree stage, but be careful with it because of the sodium content and stuff. And so I tried a soup that was a little bit healthier and found that I ate a lot more of it than I was used to eating, and was surprised and a little alarmed almost that I had taken in so much of the soup so quickly. And I realized quick that it was because it was liquid, and I wasn't eating the chunks in the soup because of the pureed stage, so I was just eating the soupy parts. But it was a creamy soup, and it was a realization how many calories I was able to put into my body so quickly and so easily just because they were in liquid form. And it was definitely a warning and a realization that I have to be careful of that, because you don't want to get into that habit at all. And it was probably one of the last soups I had, because I don't want that to be an issue at all with the calories. And it really makes you think before you put stuff into your stomach. You don't want to, it's too easy to mindlessly just, because the other thing that the nutritionist said to me was don't pay attention to your portions. So I don't necessarily. I do have cups that I use for some things, just because there have been 1 or 2 times where I've eaten and then don't realize I've eaten too much until a couple minutes later, and by then it's too late. So it's definitely one of those things you have to portion out and be careful for if you do it at all, which I haven't been doing. I haven't even been doing the chili as often, just because, again, with the sodium, but I have been finding ways of getting my protein and getting the food in, and you can tell immediately that it was a difference. That day that I had the chili that I talked about getting all emotional about, I felt the strength. As I just driving home, I felt myself getting stronger, and having food like that really does make me feel stronger, instead of just water and Jello all the time. You can feel, it's almost like you feel the energy. So other than that, everything's been going really well. It's the end of the school year. One of my kids is already done. The other one's done in 2 days. And dance is over, much to my dismay and my daughter's dismay, because I miss my friends. And so does she. And everything else is just getting ready for summer, which is going to be really fun. I plan to do a lot more this summer than I have. I usually try to do a lot in the summer, but I look forward to even more this year. I definitely feel like I have more energy than I have in the past, and I feel like I'm ready to just get out there and do lots of fun stuff. And food doesn't scare me anymore right now. The food choices, going places, isn't as bad as I thought it would be, because I know it's just all mental, and I kind of take things one meal at a time, and having purees helps, but after next week, fingers crossed, that will be more of an issue, but it's not like I can eat so much of it anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. And it's really been nice to see that my attitude about food really has changed. I definitely have my moments. everyone does, but it's always still a positive thing, and it's always still worth it to me. I've had a few people say, but it's still worth it, and it makes me wonder if maybe I give off the impression that I don't think it is, but that's never the case. It's just me telling it like it is. You know, when you go to the gym and you feel the burn, then you always say it's like a good burn, and you could feel your body going crazy and straining, but it feels good because you know that it's working and that you're going to be healthier and you're losing weight. And but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt at the moment. It's a good hurt, but it hurts. And that's just me. I say what I'm feeling, and sometimes it sucks, but that doesn't mean it's not always 100% worth it. I haven't regretted it for a second. In fact, the longer time goes on, the more I'm glad I did the process, and I absolutely love it. I find that food commercials have changed again. Sorry, I had a brain fart. See, surgery brain. All of a sudden now I find myself rewinding because we fast forward through all of our commercials because we have a TiVo, and all of a sudden if I find something yummy as a commercial, I rewind it and watch it, and it doesn't make me want to eat it. It's just kind of like a fun thing to watch, which is weird. It's kind of like satisfying in a way, seeing the food even though I didn't eat it. So that's new and different, but doesn't seem to be hurting anything, so okay. I found a lot of people say after the surgery they like to watch food shows, which before I had the surgery I thought was insane and weird, but now that I like these commercials, I can see maybe why that's the case. It's kind of like looking at all the yummy food that I know I can't have and getting a little piece of it almost, even though I didn't actually eat it. And my surgery breath is the only thing that still seems to linger. And I feel horrible about it because I don't feel like it's my problem more than it's everyone else's problem around me. They warned me about that too, and I have mints, and I brush my teeth like crazy and floss and mouthwash twice as much as I used to, and it's still never enough. And nobody ever says anything, even though every person I talk to, I'm always like, sorry about my surgery breath, and I'm always embarrassed about it. But no one ever says anything except for Randy, who I told to tell me if it stank, and my mom, who will just very subliminally, like, not subliminally, like, she'll like slip me a little mint when nobody can see it. So I'm like, oh great, there we go again, it must be stinking. And I feel bad about it. I wish it would go away, but it still hasn't. So anybody who sees me personally, I apologize once again for that one. But other than that, everything's good, and everything's going really well. And I hope that these videos are still doing their job and inspiring people, and they're not totally weird and boring and pointless, and everybody out there is doing really well. And thank you again for all your support. It's surgery, like I said, but I might have said this already, is one of those things that shows you who your real friends are. And I definitely have seen who they are, and I definitely appreciate you, and you probably know who you are because I've been saying how much I appreciate you to everyone as often as possible. So I hope everybody has a wonderful summer. Get out there and build a campfire, because that has got to be the best smell in the world, right? Campfire. So maybe I'll hold the s'mores, but I'm definitely going to get to a campfire as soon as possible. So you should do that too. So everyone stay happy and stay healthy and stay inspired, and I'll talk to you soon.